This is CBC Saturday News.
Good evening, I'm Marivelle Tarouk. Dozens of people in northeast Toronto stage a protest today, hoping to stop the removal of 2 wards from their local hospital. The administration at Birchmount Hospital, also known as Scarborough Grace Hospital, plans to remove obstetrics and inpatient pediatrics. Doctors have previously warned the move is dangerous, but the Scarborough Health Network maintains the changes will improve health care in the area. Talia Ricci explains.
Keep the grace! Keep the grace whole!
They're chanting, "Keep the grace whole," because these residents believe removing the obstetric and pediatric wards from their local hospital will leave a void in their health care.
We haven't been consulted at all. It makes absolutely no sense for a woman or a child in need of immediate care to show up at the hospital and be transferred to another hospital.
This hospital serves the people north of the 401. There's close to 350,000 people that live north of the 401, south of Highway 7. These people are going to be left out to dry.
The services will be relocated to Centenary Hospital and Scarborough General. The area councillor is calling on the province to intervene.
These are people that are very mad. These are people that just don't want anything to happen to their hospital.
So there still will be 24/7, 365 a day a week coverage of the Birchmount site for pediatrics and obstetrical care.
The Scarborough Health Network says that will be in place when the transfer occurs.
In addition to that, just at the Birchmount, we're setting up a clinic which will be operational, and it's going to run every day, 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., staffed with an on-site pediatrician.
In a statement, a spokesperson for the province's Ministry of Health says, "Our government's top priority remains ensuring the continued protection of patient safety." Adding, "At the same time, the ministry respects hospitals' responsibility to make independent decisions about their operations, so long as these decisions uphold and protect access to quality care."
Save the grace!
Last month, 41 physicians sent a letter to the Minister of Health and the Scarborough Health Network condemning the plans. This doctor maintains that it's not the right move.
This neighborhood, too, is filled with low and very low income people. There are a lot of immigrants, a lot of minorities, and it's like their rights in being, Canadian human rights are being trampled by this move. So I don't think this is a safe move.
The Scarborough Health Network insists there are no plans to close the hospital, but the 2 wards will be relocated on October 30th. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
A brazen shooting on a quiet residential street in Newmarket last night has left a 26-year-old man dead and a 23-year-old woman in hospital.
Well, it was about 9 o'clock. We were just watching TV, and then we just heard bang, 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 a whole bunch of, we thought it was firecrackers. And then about 3 minutes later, the police were all over the street.
We've lived here for almost 13 years, and nothing like that has ever happened here. The most we've had is teenagers stealing coins from cars.
Most people think, oh, this is going to happen down in the city. And when it comes out to neighborhoods like this, where I've lived with my wife for 15 years without incident involving guns that we know of, it's very concerning.
It happened outside a home on Coulter Street near Yonge and Mullock. Police say 2 male suspects drove up to the home, got out of their vehicle, and shot at the victims who were inside a white car. Both victims were taken to hospital. The man died there shortly after, and the woman remains in hospital but is expected to survive. Police say the house is an Airbnb rental and believe the victims may have rented the home. They believe the incident was targeted and are urging the suspects to come forward.
If you're going to try something like this in a residential neighborhood in York Region, we do have a lot of cameras around here. We will capture your image, we will figure out who you are, and our investigators with our homicide unit will get you into custody. So do the right thing now and seek legal counsel and turn yourself in.
Police are looking for a dark-colored 4-door sedan that neighbors saw leaving the scene. They're also asking anyone with information to come forward. It's a tense weekend for parents waiting for word on whether schools will open on Monday. Talks resume today as the province and the union representing education workers tries to avert a strike. More than 50,000 QP members, including Office administrators, special education assistants, and custodians are prepared to walk off the job if no deal can be reached come Monday. A strike would shut down schools across the GTA, and all recreational and after-school programs will also be cancelled. Only third-party childcare programs will be allowed to continue operating, but they will have different hours. From sundown to sunrise, Toronto is preparing to stay up all night in the name of art. In less than an hour, the 14th annual Nuit Blanche will kick off. The free, all-ages art event will host installations right around the city for one night only. Our Angelina King joins us live from one of those installations. Angelina, I'm not sure which one of you we're looking at.
I don't know which one of myself I'm looking at. It's kind of frightening, isn't it? My face everywhere.
It's not bad.
I'm having a hard time tracking myself. Oh, well, thank you. Now, I want to tell you about this installation. Enough about me, which we'll get to what this installation is teaching us, but it is called Kaleidoscope, a social media trinity. So what you should be seeing is this live feed of that trinity, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And what this artist is trying to do is get people to think a little bit deeper about this need for social validation and self-promotion online. So let's bring him in here. The artist Alejandro Figueroa, tell us a little bit about what you want people to kind of take away and to feel after they've experienced this.
I think the important thing that I wanted to share with people is that what we put up there into social media, it always comes back to us. So this is basically a machine that feeds off social media and feeds it back because people take selfies on it. So it's like a critique on the whole social media frenzy.
And this installation is billed as an Instagrammable installation. So I'm wondering, you know, all that being said, why that decision was made?
I think that we're being more and more challenged to be authentic and to just love each other for who we are and more into like what other people think about us. So this is like putting into question that. I think that is what I would like people to get out of this.
Very interesting. Thank you so much. So this is just one of about 90 installations in Toronto by more than 300 artists scattered across the city. Now, for example, in Nathan Phillips Square, there's a big moon set up as part of this Japanese-inspired garden where people can get some zen in a busy world. Also, not too far away in David Pico Square, there's another installation with these two shipping containers kind of tracking the solar system in Toronto. So lots going on. It runs until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. The TTC will be open, running a lot of lines running overnight to accommodate all of the people. The city says more than 1 million people are expected to come out tonight. A quick tip, organizers say if you like the hustle and bustle of the whole thing, midnight is the best time to be out. But if you want some quiet and you can get quite close here, an example with the art, then between 4 and 7 o'clock in the morning is the best time when the city is just waking up. Maribel?
One of the coolest lives you've ever done. Angelina, thanks for this. All right, Marta, everyone's going to wonder, do we need to bring the parkas out tonight for Nuit Blanche?
You might need to bring the parkas, and you will definitely need an umbrella. And as Angelina mentioned, she said around 12 o'clock, that's probably the best time if you like the hustle and bustle. Well, that's exactly when the rain is scheduled to come for parts of the GTA. You can see 13 degrees. That's overnight. Typically for this time of year, it's around 7. So it is warmer than it should be, but that rain icon is there. So again, Nuit Blanche starts at 7 o'clock, and by midnight, that's when the rain is supposed to come. So you have a couple hours in between there to get some of those art installations in. By Sunday afternoon, it's going to warm up 20 degrees. For this time of year, it really should be about 16, but there is that southerly flow pumping in, and we do see some of those temperatures climbing. Now, this is a satellite and radar for the past few hours, so you see this system is moving in, and that's what's going to be coming in through parts of the GTA around midnight. So we do have that chance of showers and scattered showers and seasonal temperatures returning a little bit later in the week, and this is the precipitation forecast. As I mentioned, it's coming, and it's going to be coming in through midnight, but there is going to be that seasonal temperature return after this cold front, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it a little bit later in the show.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thanks, Marta. It is the end of an era in the nation's capital. By tomorrow morning, the hundreds of buses that chug through Ottawa's downtown will be taken off the road. And after years of political drama and delays, the city's new light rail system takes over for good. Kate Porter has more.
The inside has this new train smell, so I'm enjoying the ride so far.
You can see that how Ottawa is going into the future.
Ottawans have been testing out their brand new train system since it launched 3 weeks ago. The 12 kilometers of track, 13 stations. They're calculating how their commute times will change.
I don't like trains, but I will have to accommodate. I think it'll make my day longer.
The train it's becoming a good friend so far.
Ottawa doesn't have a subway. For decades, it has relied on dedicated bus roads that send 150 buses an hour through downtown. On Sunday, like a magic wand, that bus traffic becomes a trickle, and the train takes over as the backbone of the system.
This weekend coming up, this is the biggest service change ever for OC Transpo customers and for us at OC Transpo. There's never been anything of this size.
The mayor is eager to get the streets back.
I think you're going to see, more people wanting to open a cafe, for instance, a patio on Slater and Albert. Before, you'd never even think about that because you'd be breathing in diesel fumes.
Today, though, people are saying goodbye to those long cross-town bus rides that over the years inspired poems and songs on YouTube.
I always like to get a window seat so when I'm riding on the bus, I can see the street.
Makes me think about the neighborhood and how it's changed since our childhood.
People are remembering packing onto the bus for Canada Day.
It's kind of sad. I follow sports a lot, and I sort of see it like when a really old player retires, and it would kind of be nice if they retired the number and no other bus could take the 95 number.
Monday's commute will be busy and the true test. The trains have had problems, doors that don't shut, and busy transfer points.
This will be the busiest the line has been yet coming up next week, so people should be ready for that. We're a big city, and this is a big city transit system, and it's a busy line.
This downtown trunk line is just the start. The city is spending billions of dollars to take the train further east, west, and south to the suburbs. And everyone agrees only then will Ottawa residents truly see the speed and convenience they've been promised. Kate Porter, CBC News, Ottawa.
Andrew Scheer was courting votes in Ontario while dodging questions about a British Columbia candidate who got the boot.
We just want to talk to you about the candidate in Burnaby North Seymour. How did your vetting process miss the homophobic comments that were on video?
Well, as you know, the candidate has been fired from our campaign.
How did your process miss it? How did your process miss it? Are you still confident in your vetting process? Are you confident?
We ask our candidates to be open and forthcoming, and when we become aware of things that are inappropriate, then we take appropriate action.
Late last night, the Tories quietly fired their candidate in the hotly contested riding of Burnaby North Seymour, Heather Lung, for describing homosexuality as perverted. The deadline to name candidates has passed, meaning the party can't field a candidate in that riding. Meanwhile, Alberta Premier Jason Kenney campaigned in support of Andrew Scheer here in Toronto. Now, the big question surrounding Kenney's visit is, where is Ontario Premier Doug Ford? This is how Kenney responded when asked that.
Doug said months ago he wasn't going to get involved in the federal election, but I ran months ago on a promise to get involved. Justin Trudeau would be absolutely devastating to my province, and he is the most unpopular prime minister in Alberta history. So Albertans support me pitching in a little bit to help send the message of the need for a change of government, one that will cut the cost of living, but also strengthen the national unity. So I'm happy to be down here doing that. And other premiers have taken different approaches. Each of them is going to choose their own way.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is pledging to restore Canada's relationship with Indigenous people. This comes a day after Singh criticized the Trudeau government for challenging a human rights ruling to compensate First Nations children. Olivia Stefanovic reports.
There he is. Chief Turtle. Good to see you, brother. You okay?
I'm okay, yeah. A warm welcome in the cold rain for NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, who took his campaign up to a small but well-known First Nations community today in northwestern Ontario.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Grassy Narrows has made headlines for mercury contamination in the river system. It has asked for help to clean it up and money to build a new health centre. Despite promises by the Trudeau Liberal government, people here say they are still waiting for action. And Singh is targeting that frustration.
I believe that there is no excuse in 2019, with the wealth that we have as a nation, with the technology we have as a country, that we cannot clean this water, ensure that all communities have clean drinking water. I do not accept any excuses. I'm committing to do whatever it takes to get it done.
Singh was challenged on the cost of his promises, to which he replied,
"We got to take a minute and think, why is that even a question? Yes, they deserve clean drinking water. Yes, we can make it happen. It's a matter of priority. And I'm going to do it."
The Liberals are on track to lift all long-term boil water advisories by 2021, but they're taking heat for falling short on providing funding and challenging a landmark human rights decision. It ordered Ottawa to compensate First Nations kids harmed by the on-reserve child welfare system. Leader Justin Trudeau did not hold any events today, leaving it up to his environment minister to defend the Liberal record.
Is there more work to do? Absolutely, and that's our commitment. But this election, the choice is with the a conservative government, which we know did not care about reconciliation.
Conservative leader Andrew Scheer is facing criticism from First Nations in his own riding for ignoring their concerns and not being accessible enough. Scheer says he's committed to an open and positive relationship with Indigenous people. But when asked how he would respond to a judicial request to compensate First Nations children, Scheer said he would also appeal.
The NDP and Greens say they would offer the full compensation, and Green Party leader Elizabeth May proposed a new strategy today for Indigenous communities, dismantling the Indian Act. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
You can watch as all 6 federal party leaders face off in the English language debate on Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. Watch on CBC TV, CBC News Network, CBC Gem, or the CBC News app. We will have a special edition of The National following the debate from 9 to 11 p.m. live from Ottawa with highlights and analysis, plus a voter panel. For more details, visit cbcnews.ca/debate. And while voting day may be 2 weeks away, some students will be able to mark their ballots today. Select campuses across Canada will let students vote by special ballot. It's open today and runs through this upcoming Wednesday, October 9th. CBC's Lorenda Redekop is at the U of T campus with more.
The polls opened today at many campuses across the country, more than 2 weeks before Election Day. For some, the bright yellow signs brought them in, including for some Dragon Boat team members in the area for training.
I didn't think I was going to vote, and then because I thought it was going to be like a whole crazy process, but it was actually really easy, and I'm proud to be a voter.
Early voting on campuses ran as a pilot project 4 years ago. Polls opened at 39 different campuses, and it worked. 70,000 people marked a ballot. 18 to 24-year-olds are the least likely to head to a polling station.
Probably just the fact that people think their vote doesn't matter. So that's that. And also, like, people are busy with, like, school, and they're just, like, they think it's, like, really complicated, so they just feel like it's a waste of time to, like, come out.
This election, early polls are open at 115 different campuses. And it's not just students who are voting.
Our kids are actually doing a math class, so we've been sort of wandering around the campus and saw the voting station open and thought, hey, this is the perfect time to do it.
One student union was out at Ryerson University convincing people to vote. In 2015, youth voter turnout was up. But this politics professor isn't convinced this election has the same type of issue convincing them to mark a ballot.
My students wanted marijuana legalized. Trudeau was the youngest and freshest face on the block. There were low expectations. People wanted to get rid of the Harper Conservative government. I expect this election not only will voter turnout go down, but it'll especially go down among that youth cohort.
Here at Ryerson University, the chief returning officer says they've had a steady stream of people coming in to mark a ballot. It's expected to be much busier come Monday here and at polling stations all across the country when students are back in class. Lorenda Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
They'll never forget this moment.
The Toronto Wolfpack is headed to the Super League. Highlights from their historic championship win this afternoon after the break. The Toronto Wolfpack clinched a big win this afternoon to get promoted to the top-tier Rugby Super League. The Wolfpack went head-to-head against the Featherstone Rovers at Lamport Stadium in the 2019 Betfred Championship, and after trailing the Rovers at halftime, the Wolfpack staged a thrilling comeback in the second half, taking the game with a final score of 24-6. The Toronto team will now replace the London Broncos in the Super League, meaning they'll play among the elite rugby teams in the Northern Hemisphere. Congrats to them. And Marta, Toronto FC playing tomorrow. So what's the weather looking like for that game?
Yeah, I mean, lots of events happening. We have the Leafs tonight. We have Nuit Blanche overnight, which is going to be sort of a rainy, cold one. But then for the TFC game, which is, we know, at BMO Field outdoors, it will be nice, 20 degrees, so definitely much warmer. So we're starting off the day with that rain icon there, 16 degrees, which is above normal, and 20 degrees, which it should be for this time of year around 16. And you see just that cloud in there for that chance of just a cloudy day, but the showers are going to be gone by the TFC game. So it's going to be very nice. And we can see that front passing through. And as I mentioned a little earlier in the show, if you're going to go to Nuit Blanche tonight, it's around midnight that those showers are going to hit in through Toronto and the GTA. You can see, I mean, the rain icon is throughout for Sunday. Toronto, there's that icon, but it is in through the morning hours. And a closer look at the GTA, Toronto, 20 degrees, so definitely warm with that southerly flow pushing in. The areas where they could see a little bit more of rainfall is in through the Huron shores and just stateside, but for Toronto looks pretty good. And then Sunday overnight, you can see the system passing through, and a high pressure area is just going to be pushing in for the rest of the week. So we're going to be right around seasonal for this time of year. You can see the cooler temperatures are plunging south in through the prairies, and over here the seasonal temperatures return for much of southern Ontario and Quebec. So that means around 16 for this time of year. A quick look at Toronto's forecast again. Sunday, slight chance, maybe on Monday, but those seasonal temperatures are back.
All right. Thanks, Marta. Toronto Police celebrated its 30th anniversary with their four-legged officers today at the K9 Unit Open House.
Been many very excellent handlers that have come and gone through the unit over the years that have made it what it is now. We have a lot of, as you see, a lot of really nice public support, and it's really great to see everybody here.
Well, along with petting the puppies and snacking on free food, the open house had a demonstration showing some of the skills the dogs learn in the K9 unit. Obedience training, detective skills, and other exercises were just some of the abilities on display today. And that is our show for you tonight. Thanks so much for watching. If you're heading out there for Nuit Blanche, Marta said bring your umbrella, maybe something warm as well when you're checking out all the installations right across our city. So whatever you do tonight, everyone, have a great night.